Dark smoke floated across the silent battlefield. Broken starships spun slowly in the cold space. Metal pieces glowed like dying embers. No voices. No engines. Only silence, the kind of silence that comes after a war has already taken everything. In the middle of this floating graveyard was an alien fighter named Roktal. Once he had been strong, proud, and feared across the galaxy. His armor carried the marks of many battles, and every scar on his body told a story of victory. But now, he could barely move. His ship was torn open from the side. Wires sparked. The main energy core was dead. The floor under him was covered with dust, blood, and the smell of burnt metal. Roktal tried to stand, but his legs refused to obey. A sharp pain shot through his lower spine. He collapsed again, breathing hard. For the first time in his life, the warrior felt helpless. He dragged himself forward using only his arms, trying to reach the control panel. Every inch felt like a climb up a mountain. His hands slipped on the cold metal, but he did not stop. Warriors of his race never stopped. When he finally reached the panel, he pressed the emergency beacon. A soft light blinked. SOS signal, active. He waited. Seconds passed. Nothing. He increased the signal strength. He opened channels to every species that once worked with his people. He sent coded messages calling for rescue. And then, finally, a reply came. A deep robotic voice spoke through the community. This is the Velar fleet. Your injury report shows spinal damage. You cannot fight anymore. Assistance, denied. Roktal's eyes widened. Denied? I fought beside your people for years. The voice repeated the same cold response. A crippled fighter brings only risk. We cannot waste resources. The signal cut. Roktal stared at the blinking screen. He did not understand. He had protected the Velar many times. He had saved their colonies. But today, they abandoned him like useless metal. Another signal appeared. This time, from the Serati Council, another ally. Roktal, the voice said, we saw your distress call. We cannot help you. We do not take in broken soldiers. You must accept your fate. The message ended. Roktal felt something inside him break. He sent more signals to mercenary groups, to independent traders, even to old war friends. Every response was almost the same. You cannot fight anymore. You are a burden. Let the stars take you. With every rejection, darkness pressed deeper into his chest. His claws shook. His breathing grew heavy. He had always believed warriors died in battle, but never alone. Never unwanted. The emergency light above him flickered. His vision blurred. He whispered to himself, so this is how my story ends. His head lowered. His hands fell to the cold floor. The silence returned. Minutes passed. Maybe hours. Then, a small beep. A new signal. Not from a powerful fleet. Not from an alien alliance. But from a tiny ship approaching from the far side of the debris field. Roktal frowned. His scanners struggled to identify it. The ship was small, old, and slow, a simple exploration vessel. Nothing special. He stared at the screen until the identification code finally appeared. Origin, human. Vessel name, Horizon's Edge. A human? Here? Humans were new to the galactic systems. They had small fleets, small colonies, and almost no influence. They were considered young, even weak by many old species. Roktal expected another rejection. Maybe the human would ignore his signal. Or worse, fear him. But the human ship changed direction. It moved straight toward him. Inside the Horizon's Edge, a young human pilot named Eli Ward watched the wreckage ahead. His heart beat faster as he saw the damaged alien ship. Most pilots would turn away. Wounded aliens could be dangerous. And this battlefield was clearly not safe. But Eli did not turn away. He activated his comm line. "Unknown fighter, this is Eli Ward of the Horizon's Edge. I received your distress signal. Do you need extraction?" Rocktal stared at the speaker, shocked. The voice was calm and warm. He replied slowly, "My legs, they no longer work. My systems are failing. If you wish to leave, I understand." There was a small pause. Then Eli said the words Rocktal never expected. "I don't leave people behind." Simple words, but they hit harder than any weapon. Eli maneuvered his ship close and forced open the damaged hatch. He stepped inside the wreckage, coughing as smoke filled the air. When he saw Rocktal, he froze for a moment. The alien warrior was huge, covered in armor, claws, and battle scars. Eli could run. He could leave. No one would blame him. But he didn't move back. Instead, he walked forward. Rocktal looked at him with disbelief. "Your people are not afraid of me?" Eli gave a small smile. "Maybe a little. But fear doesn't stop us from doing the right thing." The human lifted Rocktal's arm over his shoulders. The weight almost pushed Eli down, but he did not quit. Step by step, he helped the massive alien move toward the exit. As they reached the human ship, Rocktal noticed something else. Eli's hands were trembling, but his eyes stayed steady. That was courage. When Eli finally secured Rocktal inside the Horizon's Edge, alarms suddenly rang. Red lights flashed across the cockpit. Eli checked the radar and his face went pale. Enemy signatures, closing fast. Not one ship. Not two. A whole hunting squad. They were coming for Rocktal. Eli swallowed hard. This was no simple rescue anymore. He jumped into the pilot's seat. "Hold on," he said, voice tight. "Things are about to get dangerous." Rocktal felt the ship lift off. Hope, something he thought he lost forever, flickered inside him again. But that hope came with a question he could not push away. Why were the hunters coming for him? And why was the human willing to risk everything for a crippled alien warrior? The Horizon's Edge shot forward like a spark escaping a fire. Engines screamed. Warning lights flashed across the cockpit. Outside the windows, dark metal shapes moved through the smoke. Enemy hunters. Their glowing red eyes followed the human ship like hungry shadows. Inside the cabin, Eli Ward kept his hands tight on the controls. His face was calm, but sweat ran down his neck. He had rescued a wounded alien warrior only minutes ago, and now a full hunting squad was chasing him. Behind him, Rocktal lay strapped to the medical bed. His armor was cracked. His breath was uneven. But his eyes stayed sharp. The alien fighter knew danger better than any outsider. He could feel death getting closer with every passing second. A sharp alarm rang again. 3 hunters on our tail, Eli said. Fast ones. Rocktal stared at the ceiling in disbelief. Why? Why are they coming for me? I already lost the battle. Eli shook his head. Someone doesn't want you alive. The ship jolted violently as a blast hit the rear engines. Eli gritted his teeth and pushed the throttle harder. The Horizon's Edge slid between shattered warships, through twisted metal arms, around floating debris. It was like flying through a graveyard maze. One wrong move, and the ship would become another dead body in the ruins. Another blast hit the left side. Sparks exploded inside the cabin. Rocktal forced himself to sit up, pain burning through his body. Human, your ship cannot outrun them. You must leave me. Save yourself. Eli didn't even look back. His voice remained steady, almost cold. I told you, I don't leave people behind. Rocktal studied the human's back. This young pilot had no armor, no advanced weapons, no elite training. He had nothing except an old ship, and a strange kind of courage. The kind of courage Rocktal had almost forgotten existed. The hunters fired again. A sharp blast sliced past the cockpit and lit up the dark space like lightning. Eli flipped a switch. Hold tight. The horizon's edge suddenly turned downward, diving into the thick field of dead ships. Large metal pieces scraped the belly of the craft. A broken wing from an old cruiser spun dangerously close. Rocktal clenched his teeth. Your flying is reckless. Eli smiled slightly. It's called improvising. He slid the ship through a narrow gap between two giant engines. The hunters tried to follow, but one crashed into the metal wall, exploding into a bright ball of fire. 2 hunters remained. Rocktal felt the ship shake, felt his own heartbeat rise. He had always been the fighter. He had always been the one protecting others. Now he was powerless, depending fully on a fragile human. The thought stung him deeper than any wound. Eli checked the monitors. Life support in your suit is failing. We need to stabilize you soon. Rocktal nodded slowly. My people would not bother. They believe a warrior without legs is already dead. Eli turned his head slightly, just enough for Rocktal to see the anger in his eyes. Your people are wrong. Those words hit Rocktal harder than any rejection he had heard earlier. Wrong? No one had ever said that to him. No one had ever cared enough to say it. Rocktal whispered, Why do you help me? You know nothing about me. Eli's voice softened. Maybe I don't know you. But I know what it feels like to be left behind. For the first time, Rocktal saw something behind the human's calm face, pain. A pain that had lived in Eli's eyes long before this mission. A pain that shaped him into the person who refused to abandon others. Before Rocktal could speak again, the scanners beeped sharply. The 2 hunters had split up, one above, one below. Eli inhaled deeply. They're trying to trap us. Rocktal forced his arm forward and touched the tactical screen. Listen carefully. Your ship is small. You cannot win a direct fight. But you can hide. Eli raised an eyebrow. Hide? Yes. Fly into the shadow of that battleship. The one with the broken spine. Eli turned quickly. The one that looks like it's going to collapse? Exactly. The horizon's edge rushed toward the giant wreck. It was a massive ship, torn open down the middle. Its broken hull cast a long dark shadow over the battlefield. Eli slid the ship into the shadow, and shut off the engines. The ship went silent. The lights dimmed. Everything became still. Outside, the hunters scanned the area. Their red lights moved back and forth, searching for any heat, any movement. Rocktal held his breath. Eli kept his hands frozen on the controls. The hunters hovered above them, closer, closer. Eli's heartbeat echoed in his ears. Rocktal's claws dug into the metal bed. Then, after several tense seconds, the hunters turned away. They flew past the shadow and vanished deeper into the ruins. Only when the scanners showed no signs of danger did Eli release a long shaky breath. Looks like we lost them. Rocktal exhaled slowly. Your reflexes, impressive for a human. Eli laughed quietly. I get that a lot. But the moment of calm didn't last long. Rocktal's chest rose and fell unevenly. His breathing grew heavy. His eyes dimmed. Eli turned sharply. Hey, stay awake. My life support, failing, Rocktal whispered. Eli rushed to the medical panel. Red warnings flashed everywhere. Internal injuries. Spinal damage. Internal bleeding. Suit failure. Rocktal's entire body was breaking down. Eli bit his lip. I need to get you to a safe port. Somewhere with medical tech. Rocktal opened his eyes halfway. No port will take me. I have enemies. Enemies who want you dead, Eli said quietly. Rocktal looked at him with a mix of pain and truth. Eli. I did not fall in battle. I was targeted. Someone inside my own ranks wanted me gone. Eli froze. Your own people? He asked. Rocktal nodded slowly. There is corruption inside my command. I saw something I was not supposed to see. They tried to silence me. And now, they will hunt us both. Eli leaned back, shocked but not afraid. So that's why they want you dead. Rocktal's voice grew weak. Human, you still have a chance to leave me. Save yourself. Eli stared at him for a long moment, then shook his head. No, he said. There's more going on here. And I'm not running away. Rocktal's vision blurred again. Why risk everything? Eli's voice was firm, stronger than the engines that kept them alive. Because someone tried to take your voice. And I'm going to help you take it back. The horizon's edge powered up again, engines glowing. The hunters were gone for now. But the real danger was just beginning. The stars stretched endlessly around them. Space was quiet. Too quiet. Inside the horizon's edge, Rocktal watched the blinking consoles. His body ached with every movement, every breath. The human pilot, Eli Ward, sat at the helm, his eyes scanning the dark horizon, hands steady on the controls. They were alone, or at least, they had thought they were. Then the sensors screamed. Multiple hostiles approaching, maximum alert. Rocktal's claws clenched. He had faced impossible odds before, but never like this. Not with his body broken, not trusting anyone outside his species, until now. Eli's voice broke the silence. They're here. All of them. Rocktal. I need your help. The alien fighter's eyes narrowed. His pride still burned under his battered armor. I am broken. I cannot fight the way I used to. You're not broken, Eli said sharply. You're still the best damn warrior I've ever met. And together, we might just survive this. The enemy fleet appeared on the scanners, dozens of sleek, black ships, glowing like predators in the dark. Rocktal recognized some, his former comrades, warriors who had abandoned him. But these weren't just soldiers. These were hunters sent to erase him completely. Rocktal's heart pounded. His legs trembled as he tried to stand. Pain lanced through his spine. He fell back. Eli reached over, grabbing his arm. Stay with me. You can still help. I know you can. For the first time, Rocktal felt something deeper than fear, trust. Trust in a human. A fragile, new species in the galaxy. A species that refused to leave him behind. Then show me the way, he whispered. Eli smiled faintly. You lead. I follow. The horizon's edge darted between debris fields, dodging enemy fire with impossible agility. Rocktal, lying on the medical table, activated his mental link protocol, a rare and dangerous ability known only to elite warriors of his species. Through the link, he could guide ships with his mind, predicting enemy movements before they happened. Eli hesitated at first, then trusted the alien's instincts. Together, they became a single weapon, human reflexes, alien strategy, one mind guiding two bodies through chaos. The first wave of attackers struck. Missiles screamed through space, but Eli and Rocktal anticipated them. A quick twist, a sharp dive, and the missiles detonated harmlessly behind them. Good, Rocktal muttered, pain making his voice rough. Good. Eli said, grinning despite the alarms. We're still alive. That's more than good. Rocktal couldn't help a short laugh. It hurt, but it felt alive. One by one, they took down the enemy ships, but the fleet kept coming. More than numbers, these hunters had one goal: erase Rocktal. Then, a message came through on the comm channel, a distorted voice of Rocktal's former commander. Rocktal, the voice said, harsh and metallic. You were a failure. And now you will die. Rocktal's eyes blazed. Failure? I survived battles you couldn't even dream of. And now, human, you see why I fight. Eli nodded. Then let's finish this. Together. Rocktal forced his mind link deeper. Pain flared in his legs. Nerves screamed. Every muscle wanted to give up. But he refused. Not today. Not while someone had trusted him. With the link active, he saw the enemy's pattern, their weakness. A single, massive cruiser in the center controlled the swarm. If they destroyed it, the rest would fall into chaos. Target the big one, Rocktal said. It's the command. Hit it, and the others will scatter. Eli nodded, and the horizon's edge dove toward the cruiser. Lasers streaked past them. Explosions lit the black void. Rocktal's claws clenched. Through the link, he guided the ship precisely. Left. Hard left. Now. Fire. Eli pressed the weapon's release. Missiles surged forward, hitting the enemy cruiser dead center. The cruiser erupted in flames, sending debris flying like deadly stars. The enemy formation faltered. Confusion spread among the remaining ships. Rocktal and Eli took advantage, moving with uncanny speed, dodging and striking. Hours seemed like minutes. The battle raged, but slowly, the horizon cleared. One by one, the enemy ships retreated or were destroyed. Finally, silence. Rocktal slumped against the medical bed, exhausted. His armor was scorched. His body screamed in agony. But his eyes burned with something he had not felt in a long time, victory. Eli sat back, hands shaking slightly. We did it. Somehow, we did it. Rocktal studied the human. Small, fragile, barely trained, but fearless. Loyal. Brave. You, he said slowly, risked everything for me. For a stranger. A broken warrior no one wanted. Eli shrugged, a small smile on his face. I told you. I don't leave people behind. Rocktal's gaze softened. Your species, humans, maybe you are stronger than you look. Stronger in ways I never understood. Eli chuckled quietly. Strength isn't always in weapons or armor. Sometimes it's in choosing to fight for what's right. And sometimes, it's just not giving up on someone. Rocktal nodded. Pain surged through him, but he smiled faintly. Then perhaps, there is hope for the galaxy yet. If humans are in it. For the first time in a long while, Rocktal felt alive. Not just as a warrior, but as someone who mattered. Someone who had been saved, and saved by someone who chose to see his worth when the entire galaxy refused. As the horizon's edge drifted through the remnants of the battlefield, Rocktal looked out at the stars. He had survived. He had fought. But more importantly, he had learned what courage truly meant. He turned to Eli. One human gave me more honor than my entire species ever did. Eli smiled. And I'm just getting started. Together, we'll make sure no one forgets your story. The stars stretched endlessly ahead. The battlefield was behind. And for the first time, Rocktal understood that sometimes, the smallest light could shine the brightest in the darkness.